Hello and welcome back to Someone Spring Outdoors. Today I'm talking to you about the difference between a curly tail jig and a ribbon tail jig. So we'll start off with the curly tail jig. So a curly tail jig is basically just this. So it's a lot similar to like a bass worm, except the body's a lot skinnier and shorter. This is because of the tail. The tail, so let's say you got this hook and it's in it like this, right? And the thing's swimming. This tail will actually like twist and wobble around. It looks like a injured whatever. And you can fish it different ways, but that's just the main way that's usually fished. It's fished to look like something with a put it lightly, a harmed rear end. Something that's, yeah, basically what I just said. Curly tail jigs, I really like to fish them in more mercury water because often what you'll find is the case is the body is kind of a more darker, settler color, like this purple, and then the tail is kind of this like a very shiny or like neon color, like this pink. And this makes it to where when it's reeled in, that curly tail jig, I like that one. That's my favorite because it looks like a bleeding tail. It'll get you bites a lot more than not. And, yeah, I just really like it. I need to clean this table off. But anyway, I need to show you guys the ribbon tail jig. So the ribbon tail jig looks almost like the curly tail jig. Let's bring it up for comparison. So you can see they all come in different sizes, but these are pretty standard. The curly tail jig has a little bit long. Actually, they're about the same size. I guess this one's just a little bit fatter. You'll notice that the tail's a lot longer. Usually they'll put a little extra sparkle in the tail, because when you reel it, I mean, I don't know if you can see through the camera, but that looks pretty flashy. It's usually got a lot of sparkles, and I like these like dark blue midnight looking colors. I feel like they work the best. I mean, usually the body, like this one, is one solid color. So usually the tail, like if there's a bass, let's say 30 yards away from your jig, and it sees your jig bouncing off the bottom, and or maybe it doesn't even see the jig, it'll probably just see the tail flashing at first, like the very flashy movements of the tail, because he probably can't even see it through the camera, but even just like these dull lights in my garage hitting the tail make it a lot more fluorescent. So they usually see the tail, and then when they come up, they'll see the rest of the body, and usually it's meant to look like a leech or maybe an eel, a small eel or something. And then sometimes with just the flashy colors and the flashy tail, and this is true with both of those jigs, the fish will just bite out of frustration because of just the flashiness. Another tip, when you're working both those jigs, like even with the reel, like if you just adjust your speed for 1 second, sometimes like those steady breaks in the pattern, those like really tick the bass off. This morning I was at some private oxbows bass fishing. We didn't catch anything. We still think it's maybe a little too cold because it is Eastern Oregon. But we have some gear coming in for the boat, and hopefully when that gear comes in, we'll take the boat out on those oxbows and have a lot more luck. Yeah, so those little jigs. are great. Ways to rig them. Let's think here. My favorite way probably to rig both of them is, so I got the Mustad Bass hook kit earlier this summer, and they have these straight shank black hooks. So normally with a curly tail jig like that, I don't like to Texas rig it. I feel like it messes up the action, so I usually just do it like this. As you can see, this might be kind of a bait holder hook, except you'll notice that the bottom, where it comes down instead of like coming down and then like a perfect circle, it comes down and it glides down and then it shoots straight up. This makes it great for so that the hook runs almost a little inward, pointing towards the body, and that helps it not get snagged as much and helps the hook get set up. And it's got these little barbs right there that help it hold on to the worm. So I really like that. But anyway, thank you for watching this episode of Mountain Train Outdoors. If you like this sort of thing, subscribe, like, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.